Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with another episode of Comic Book Origins. This time we're looking at Sandman, the original Wesley Dodds. Wow, okay, this I'm excited about. I haven't read this story in so long, but there's a problem. Okay, so I've always known Adventure Comics number 40 to be the first appearance of Sandman, but there's a bit of controversy. Some people believe that New York World's Fair number 1 was released 2 weeks before, so that's the first appearance of the Sandman. And so rather than hunt down, and I did actually hunt down a Secret Origins issue that had Wesley Dodd Sandman in it, I figured it would be better to put these two in the same video. So yeah, here's a cool thing also that I think happened with this character. Not a lot of people were paying attention to him. And then it's like Sandman comes out by Neil Gaiman, and they were like, hey, you remember we had this really this really weird looking guy who wore a gas mask, Sandman? We should put a comic book out about him. And Sandman Mystery Theater came out, and it just killed. It was getting all sorts of accolades and everything. Now, I don't have anything on that. I'm just kind of mentioning it anyway. But, okay, so I know there's not a lot of information going on about, okay, Sandman was created in 1939, Burt Christman, Gardner Fox. However, when the scripts were put in, it was under a pseudonym of Larry Dean. So take that how you will. After, of course, he did make those first two appearances, he ended up being a staple of Adventure Comics. But, when superheroes went away for a while, so did he for a long time. And actually came back as a spandex-clad superhero. Looks kind of weird. I prefer it this way. Anyway, thank you to Jim Sorensen for commissioning this video. And if you would like to commission your own video, go on over to Ko-Fi and just pick out whatever topic you want. I've got more categories. You could pick any character or anything like that. I'm going to put a list down also so people aren't doubling up. Yeah. Anyway, I'm having a lot of fun. I am in no control of my channel as far as these videos are concerned, but it's still a lot of fun to see what you guys come up with, so feel free to do that. It's happy times, happy times. Not for what YouTube is doing, however. So they're choking out I Love Comics. I'm really trying to bring it back, but unfortunately, YouTube is burying it. What that means is they're sharing it maybe with like the barbecue crowd or somebody, not the people who would actually watch these videos. So if you don't mind, go on over to Old Man Comics Englentine. You put in Old Man Comics Englentine into YouTube. I've started another channel. As soon as it gets up to 1,000, I'm going to start just putting everything on that channel. And I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that. Now, with all that aside, let's get down to business, to the very first appearances of Sandman. We're going to do both of them. Might as well. They're controversial. But the first one we're going to do is the New York World Fair number 1, released in 1939. As always, we take a look at the cover first, and to tell you the truth, 96 pages for 25 cents? Holy Toledo! Actually, I did the math. It comes out to $4.38 in modern day, which is pretty good considering it costs $8 for 48 pages. Now, I do like the cover because it reminds me of a Disney map, which, you got the kids saying, come on into the World's Fair. And it's sort of that inviting thing. It really does work in that context anyway. So the book opens and we see just the Sandman, weird figure of the night, garbed in mask and cloak. His gun brings sleep, his deeds, justice in a world of injustice. He is wanted by police forces of 2 continents, yet he has never committed a crime. A modern Robin Hood, friend of the afflicted. And we cut to a guy in office on the phone, and he's talking to Wesley Dodds, and he says that the government ray gun is ready, and he's going to bring the model of the gun and the plans to the steel building at the World's Fair where Wesley Dodds will meet him. He's like, okay, yeah, but are you sure it's safe to bring the plans with you? And the guy's like, oh, don't worry about it. Government men are here. They want the plans. And here they are now. Dodds, I'm Henry of the U.S. Secret Service. I suggested we meet here to look over the plans. So apparently the plans are going to be really big in this story because they've said that word like 10 times on one page. So the gentlemen meet in an escape-proof room with no windows or doors. And as they're talking about the plans, Dodds accidentally drops some of them on the floor and hands over a case to the government men. But then the lights go out. And when they come back on, the case is gone. His employee apologizes, seeing that Dodds called it that somebody would try to steal it. And he's like, well, there's nothing we could do now. We find Dodds did pick up the piece of the plans that he had dropped. And then he gets into a Sandman garb and says, the Sandman lives again. But first, a visit to the government archives. I do think it's kind of funny that Dodds wears his pants so high. It's kind of like that out-of-shape, in-shape guy from the 1940s.
Gambling is illegal in this town.
Says who?
Says me. You got a problem with that?
And as the Sandman breaks into the archives, he looks at some files and realizes that the agent that he met earlier that day was an imposter. Figuring that the real agent would have to be in the building somewhere, he begins to search and he finds him. So we find out from the real Agent Henry that the imposter is a spy named Boris Leland who has a yacht off of Long Island Sound. Sandman uses his powerful car to get there and then removes his suit aside from his vest and his helmet and jumps into the water so he could climb onto the boat from the anchor. By the way, that's the 18th take, and on one of the takes, a really loud car just went by. Perfect take, then a car. So then Boris discovers that part of the plans are missing, and he calls the person who set everything up, and Sandman, who was about to pounce, is like, hey, wait a second, maybe I should hang back. That way I can find out who the brains of the outfit is. But while he's waiting, he gets discovered by one of the guards and quickly puts him to sleep and decides, well, I better go around, putting all the other guards to sleep, safety first. He actually says those words, safety first. Leland and his unknown should have talked things over by now. Gentlemen, Everts, you? Who are you? How do you know me? Yes, who are you? I, gentlemen, and sometimes known as the Sandman. I understand you have thieved plans for a new ray gun. The Sandman, get him, or everything's lost. And then he gasses everybody. That is one really good gun to have around. So not everybody ends up getting put to sleep as Everts makes his escape. Terrified, Everts attempts an escape. With the plan safe, I'll have my accounting with Everts. Everts, why did you betray Wesley Dodds? I needed the money badly. I was stealing from the firm. The plans meant $1 million to me. I dared not copy them. It would lead to my door. This seemed the easier way, the safer way. I hate to do this, Everts, poor fool, but you must pay. There, that dose will hold you. Back on shore, the Sandman starts his powerful car. That's the second time they described that, is it? It's certainly a big car. Police, you found Henry? Good. Tell him his quarry are on the yacht. Iced? Yes. He'll know. Yeah, Mr. Sandman, iced means dead, right? Although the Golden Age, the heroes did kill a lot more often than you'd think. We cut to the Sandman who's watching to make sure that the capture gets made, and then he decides, well, if the Sandman mails the plans to Wesley Dodds, it would look better. So he does. He even the next day calls up the Agent Henry, and he's like, Dodd speaking. Read the morning paper and wanted to let you know I've got the plans back intact, mailed to me by the Sandman. Yes, they're all safe. Later, we see in a boardroom, and so, gentlemen, the model will be exhibited at the fair. No one could understand its working without the plans, and they're protected now forever. And apparently at a meeting, we see someone talking to Dodds. It looks like it might be the agents. And thus came the ray gun to be safely exhibited at the World's Fair. Its plan secure in the government vaults in Washington. This Sandman must be a great guy, don't you think so? A great guy? Well, maybe so. The end. Okay, so I gotta say, not thrilled. Sorry, I wish I was. That's one of the reasons I realized something. Maybe on the stories that I don't really care for, I'm not talking a lot. Anyway, I kind of thought it was dull. I don't know. In the ending, here's the thing. I don't think they exactly know what they wanted Sandman to be at this point, because they kind of play him up like he's going to be a Green Hornet style villain, where the the agents think he's bad, but okay, maybe doesn't. And it's okay if he has like one agent on his side, but they never really dug into that. And I understand they only have 10 pages. But even the ending where everybody has these long word bubbles, it seemed like they were wishy-washy on that point. So, overall, yeah, if we're going on quality, I got to read Adventures Comics number 40 before I decide which one I want to be the Sandman's first appearance. All right, yeah, as always, we start with the cover, and frankly, I think this is a lot better. The other one wasn't bad, but this is obviously more Sandman. It's iconic, by the way, this picture as well. I love the colors on it. I could do without the gigantic adventure comics, you know, more picture, less title would be fine. Oh, and by the way, it does say in this book, starts the adventures of the Sandman. That doesn't mean much, but it might sway people. So the book starts off, we see Sandman, I don't know what's going on with his hand in that first panel there, but it says, the Sandman prowls again, and justice scores a blow to crime. Aha! Well, this right here proves it. If he is prowling again, then I would have to say that the World's Fair comic is first, right? Because he can't prowl again if it, wait a second, he said that in the beginning too. Well, gosh darn it, we're just going to have to solve this particular mystery with an arm wrestling match. Alrighty, so anyway, we hear, extra, Vivian Dale kidnapped by tarantula, extra, Paperboy, and we see the newspaper saying, the tarantula strikes, actress held for $500,000. And then it's got writing that, in all honesty, the comic book is way too old to read there. But we go on and we see that Wesley Dodds is in his very Bruce Wayne-like night coat, I have to say. They kind of really cut from the same cloth whenever they do a DC hero in the Golden Age. Anywho, so Wesley's sitting with his friend Tom, and Tom's like, dude, we need to find a really good detective, but I can't think of anybody. We need the Sandman, dude, but nobody knows who he is. And after Tom takes his leave and goes home, we see Wesley contemplating some stuff, and he finishes his cigarette, and finally, good night, Humphreys. Good night, sir. And in his bedroom, good night, Mr. Wesley Dodd. Sleep tight. And then he presses a button on the wall. And later we see him mixing up some chemicals for his strange sleep gun. Then he dons his black apparel. Green hat, yellow mask, purple cape, orange suit, yellow gloves. Dude, not questioning your golden age-ness, but yeah, you may want to get the eyes checked. He slips into Vivian Dale, the kidnapped actress's home, when he overhears a cop telling all of the staff, you're all suspects. You were all here when Miss Dale disappeared, so you're all possible accomplices of the tarantula. We'll have to hold you here tonight. But, well, see here, Captain, I won't stand for this treatment. Sorry, Mr. Crossheart, but you'll have to. Now, everybody, go to your rooms, lock the doors, and stay there. We're expecting a visit, a message from the tarantula, and we don't want anyone prowling about when he comes. Don't worry. And the Sandman says to himself, so the tarantula comes again tonight. Ew. Good. Meanwhile, I'll look around. Sandman explores the home, and finally he sees the tarantula walking around. This is my chance to find Vivian. He explores more from where the tarantula came and realizes he sees the actress, but there's a guard, so he fires his sleeping pistol. I smell flowers, violets. Guess this place is getting... Oh, gee. I'm falling asleep. After the two fall asleep, the Sandman decides to go looking for the tarantula. He sees Crossheart's cane, and we cut to the tarantula who finds Vivian and her guard fast asleep with a smell of violet and sand spread across the floor. The Sandman is here. He'll regret crossing me. The tarantula sees the Sandman sitting there and fires his gun at him. Feeling lucky that he remembered his silencer so the cops didn't hear the shot, but from behind comes the Sandman spraying his gun and his sleeping powder into his face. So simple to fool you, Mr. Tarantula, alias Mr. Crossheart. My hat and cape on a pillow, a string to topple it when you shot. Now I must hurry, I have arrangements to make. The next morning... Can you believe it, Wesley? It's just as if the Sandman had heard me pleading for help. Look here, it says this morning the police found Vivian unharmed, fast asleep, in her room. Tied to the foot of her bed was the tarantula and another thug, both asleep. There was sand sprinkled lightly over them all, the Sandman's signature. By George, it's unbelievable. It's amazing. It's for heaven's sake, Wesley, say something. Remarkable, Tom. Remarkable. The end. So, okay, I have to admit I like this story a little bit better than the other one. 8 pages, not exactly time to build up mystery. Crossheart was the only other person to speak, so obviously it's him, right? It's okay. It was okay. It wasn't anything amazing. I've read better. I've read worse. It wasn't as bad as The Flash, the Golden Age Flash's first appearance. Check out that video. Links in the description below. But holy Toledo. I love the look of the character. I got to try out some Sandman Mystery Theater again, because that might be it. It would just... he's just a cool-looking hero that had a great Vertigo series. Anyway, what did you think of the video? What did you think of the story itself, or the stories? Which one do you think is the first appearance? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to click like and share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because that's all YouTube thinks about. But you got to make sure that your notifications are on as well. And if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Ko-Fi or to Patreon. Drop $1 in the till. There is tip jars on both. And if you want to commission a video, go to Ko-Fi, pick out a topic, pick out a character, a storyline, or a team, whatever you want to talk about, and I'll get a video done for it. Like, thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.